Published 1436 Est, the 16th of November 2017. Updated 1436 Est, the 16th of November 2017. A displaced Yemeni family are pictured next to their makeshift shelter on a street in the Yemeni coastal city of Hodeidah on November 16, 2017. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is very much disappointed that the Saudiled coalition is refusing to lift its blockade of Yemen and has written directly to Riyadh's representative, his spokesman said Thursday. The coalition shut down Yemen's sea and airports as well as borders on November 6 in response to a missile attack by the Iran-backed Houthi rebels near Riyadh. After repeated appeals by UN officials were ignored, Guterres wrote to the Saudi ambassador on Thursday to ask for an end to the blockade, which he said is already reversing the impact of humanitarian efforts. The Secretary-General is very much disappointed that we have not seen a lifting of the blockade, said UN spokesman Staffan Dujarric. Guterres and his top 8 officials are heartbroken at the scenes we are seeing from Yemen and the risk of continued suffering of the Yemeni people, Dujarric added. This is a man-made crisis, continued the UN spokesman, adding that Guterres had called it a stupid war. The United Nations has listed Yemen as the world's #1 humanitarian crisis, with 17 million people in need of food, 7 million of whom are at risk of famine. Yemen is also battling one of the world's worst outbreaks of cholera, that has left nearly 1 million people ill and killed 2,200 people. In a letter to Saudi Ambassador Abdallah al-Mualimi, Guterres called on the coalition to allow UN flights to Sana'a and Aden, and to reopen the key ports of Hodeidah and Salif in rebel-held territory. The direct appeal to Saudi Arabia's ambassador from the UN chief highlighted growing frustration and alarm over Yemen's humanitarian crisis and the coalition's refusal to open up access to aid. In the letter, Guterres offered to send a UN team to Riyadh for talks on tightening up inspections at Hodeidah port once the aid shipments have resumed. The coalition argues that ships docking at Hodeidah port are used for arms smuggling to the Houthi rebels. Earlier, the heads of 3 UN agencies warned that without deliveries of vital supplies such as food and medicine, untold thousands of innocent victims, among them many children, will die. The joint appeal came from the World Health Organization, the UN Children's Agency UNICEF and the World Food Programme. The coalition has partially eased some restrictions on ports controlled by the Saudi-backed Yemeni government, but the United Nations is insisting on access to Hodeidah and Salif ports. Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.